Today is vlog day 1016. Good morning and welcome to day 16 of my 20 and 20 here in Paris. Fittingly, we're in the 16th. The 16th Arrondissement of Paris is a large one. It is one of the more famously wealthy ones. It's beautiful, it's quiet. There's not a lot going on as far as food that I would recommend or coffee that I would recommend, but it does have a corner on one industry, and that is embassies. I was gonna say museums, but there are museums all over the city. They do have some fantastic museums, however, including this one. I'm wheeling around a little bit within the recently finished square of Palais De Tokyo. Palais De Tokyo being home to one of the modern art museums here in Paris with some fantastic exhibitions often. And yeah, this is a really nice little, it's not even a fountain really, I guess. It's more of just kind of like a stagnant pond. But it is a nice little stagnant pond. They do have a little cafe here that you can sit at if you'd like to. Although it's pretty hard to see the Eiffel Tower from it because, you know, trees. That said, the 16th does offer some of the most famous views of the Eiffel Tower, a few of which I will show you today. And it does have one really good coffee shop, which I'm gonna start making my way towards right meow. La Flamme de la Liberté, or the replica flame from the Statue of Liberty that was a gift from New York to Paris, is technically in the 8th, so we're gonna pretend we didn't see that. I'm gonna head up the hill here, and of all of the museums that you could see in the 16th, I'm just gonna show you a few as we bounce past them, some of which are prettier from the outside than others. Palais de Tokyo, which we're kind of looping around right now, is not one that I would necessarily say is the prettiest. The courtyard is nice. It's fairly smooth. Too many stairs to really take advantage of on the wheel, but it's nice. The other side of it though, they got the modern part, but not so much the art part on the exterior of this one. It is, the colonnade in the middle is fairly nice. I do like that. And you know, it's fine. I'm giving it a hard time. It's a really great museum. I shouldn't give it too hard of a time. There are a few Space Invaders around here as well. I don't want to show you too many of them because, I mean, the whole point is that you find them on your own. But there are like 4, I think, in the immediate vicinity of the Palais de Tokyo. So, you know, that'll keep you busy. And across the way, although it's currently closed, is the Palais de Galeria. Lots of palais. Palais Galliera. Technically it's not supposed to be open for another hour, so I don't know who opened that door, but nice little peek inside. This is a fashion museum as far as I understand it. I've never actually been inside, but I have taken advantage of that park. And it is real nice. So definitely go in there for a picnic. Oh, here's a great, one of the nice things about doing this on a Sunday, not only is the 16th usually, you know, pretty chill, but it's Sunday, so it's basically borderline dead right now, which is fantastic for riding the wheel around. But just to the right of Palais de Tokyo, one of the views that I've shared before, one of my favorite photos of the city, especially if you have a real camera, is right here. The Eiffel Tower in all of its glory, framed delightfully above some very Parisian chimneys. Might as well take advantage of it while you're here. One more museum that I'm going to show you right here, as well as one awesome statue of American. It's George Washington's statue in front of the Asian Cultural and Heritage Museum, which is a fantastic museum. If you ever, it's a really good one. Now, a combination, sorry, my eyes are gonna be watering because even though I'm not allergic, the trees are dumping like enough pollen that you can just feel it hit you in the face. Right up here, around the corner, are two less famous museums, the Architectural Museum and the Museum of Man, but they're nice museums and they do provide one of the more famous views of the Eiffel Tower, probably the most famous view of the Eiffel Tower, which you've seen in tons of photos, you've seen it in movies, you've seen it in the Mission Impossible movie even, and it's very worth a visit. You've seen this in my video about photos of the Eiffel Tower, as well as my video about photo shoots with L&M. And the hot tip for this is if you want to get like actual photos of yourself here without a ton of people, you got to get here early in the morning, because even on a Sunday, I mean, that's not so bad. There aren't a ton of people there already, but you know, it's almost 9 in the morning and people are already starting to show up, which is fine. They're all going to enjoy it. They're all going to appreciate it so much, but they're also Gonna make it pretty hard to get the photo of your dreams. So you get here early. Speaking of photo of my dreams, did you notice Benjamin Franklin over here? I'm zipping around just enjoying the wheel this morning. And got pollen in the eye again. It's so annoying. We're entering into a very famous shopping area. Well, I don't know how famous it really is. There's a grande épicerie over here. There's a lot of really big stuff. There's a lot of big names. Lots of shopping. It's not quite as famous as Victor Hugo though. When we get over to Avenue Victor Hugo, there's even more upscale shopping, like a ton of upscale shopping. And we're gonna go that way because our coffee is in that direction. La Muette, to my understanding, is another station formerly on the Petite Ceinture. So if you remember from the 14th, we went to La Petite Ceinture, which is the original railroad ring around Paris. And there's still a bunch of the old train stations up and available. And what's really cool about the one that's over here that I'm on my way to show you, as well as a couple other things, is that it got converted into a bar / restaurant. Now, it's a really cool experience when you go in. It's been under construction for a long time, so I don't know when it's gonna open again. However, when it does open, highly worth it just for the environment. Like, it's really cool to go sit. The French do really cool things with old train stations, and this is no exception. However, in my experience in the past, the service has been pretty terrible, and everything has been generally overpriced. But that's the problem with the 16th, is the 16th, being one of the wealthier neighborhoods, is also very consistently overpriced. And, you know, generally the food options aren't the kind of food and drink options that I would be interested in, and tend to be a little bit less interesting to me. Just put it that way. But we're in an area called Passy, which is also the name of the metro station, as you'll remember from yesterday. And it is the metro station that you would jump on, head over to Bir Hakeim to get that fantastic shot of the Eiffel Tower as you go across the river on line 6. Here's the Grande Épicerie that I was talking about a minute ago. So Passy, La Muette, sorry my geography about this area is not the best, but Passy et ooh, there's a Space Invader. Passy et La Muette are, yeah, pretty decently upscale shopping areas. You'll find a lot of what you're looking for here if you're a shopper, but Avenue Victor Hugo is even more intense for that. I don't know if this one looks familiar. I feel like I have it, but let's be sure. Yeah, I had that one already. But this is La Gare. Theoretically, it's opening in April of 2019, so we'll see if that's true. But you'll see a number of buildings like this around the city. This is actually, if you look for one of these old train stations, that's how we got into the Petite Ceinture the other day in the 14th, so that's how you can find your way in, hopefully. This is on the Petite Ceinture, but it's kind of a different version of it. And there's a park back here that I want to show you as well as a Monet Museum. Yeah, and that's it, then I want to go get coffee. So here on the back side of the park is the Marmatan Monet Museum. If you want to come see some Monets along with, I don't know, all kinds of other stuff. I'm not actually sure what all's in here. There's your opportunity. Right there. There's one cool shot over here that I never really noticed that the lines worked out of the Eiffel Tower. And then the much awaited coffee. The place I'm going to take you to is one of the only places, if it's the only place in the 16th that I've found so far, which is great because it plugs that hole for me, I suppose, but it's called You Decide. Very good. They make everything in-house. Really nice. They're not a coffee roaster of their own, but they serve the Barn, which is a fantastic coffee roaster that you might recognize from my trip to Berlin. And oh, how do I get down from here? This doesn't go down far enough. Wait, hit it. And yeah, I'm ready. So just on the other side of these embassies and the traffic over here, you'll find the Bois De Boulogne. The Bois De Boulogne, the woods of Boulogne, are technically on the outside of the periphery, so they should be outside of Paris, but they've been annexed by the 16th, much like the Bois de Vincennes has been annexed by the 12th. Paris likes to add parks to its ranks whenever it can, so I want to go this way. So when you look at a map, instead of Paris kind of globbing on, like the map that I show at the beginning of each of these, kind of extends out to the left and the right a little bit as well. Don't worry, we'll go check that out after coffee. But first, coffee. There are a couple of things out there that we could check out. One is the Hippodrome, which we're not going to go check out probably because it's on one far end of Bois De Boulogne, and Bois De Boulogne's huge. And the other is the Louis Vuitton Foundation, which is what I wanted to go check out because I've actually never gone out and seen it. The Hippodrome is where you can go to watch horse races. Not going to be that interesting to see from the outside, so that's why I'm not so worried about it. But the Louis Vuitton Foundation should be very interesting to see from the outside. Don't think they're going to let me bring my wheel in, but that's okay. I haven't been going into any museums or anything on this whole thing really, so we'll save that for another time. But you know what we're not going to save for another time? That I keep talking about? That I keep not doing anything about? That I'm going to do something about now? Coffee! My whole day is ruined. Why? Well, that's the worst. Highly unfortunate. There is one saving grace though, if you want. Ure is a great bakery. It's in my list of chains that'll save you if you're in desperate need of pastries at least. Coffee, not really gonna recommend it necessarily, but at the very worst, I guess I could at least get a pastry here to hold me over. I'm pretty... Pain au chocolat to hold me over. I didn't realize how cold my hands were until I tried to take money out of my wallet. I'm cold. Just kind of fumbling around a little bit. I might commit another sin. I don't really want like a bistro espresso. I haven't had Starbucks in about, I think like 2 or 3 months. Seems like I'm due for my quarterly Starbucks experience. I find Starbucks to be kind of like 30% of the time is good. And then like the rest of the time is kind of like something's weird. So hopefully today's a 30% positive day. And then I got 3 more things to talk about, 2 to show you. I think. We'll find out. Well, they got my drink wrong, but you know, cool. This Starbucks did actually save my life at one point though. Years ago, when I was in desperate need of Wi-Fi and actually in the middle of a transition between living in West Africa, well, Central Africa at the time, and moving back to the States, and I was doing some training for a job. I needed the internet, didn't have access to it, and spent a lot of that time in that Starbucks studying. That was like 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. So, you know, I owe that to them. That was very nice of them. They can get my drink wrong every once in a while. It's okay. And here, this is the roundabout in Victor Hugo Square, or the Place de Victor Hugo. Like I said, lots and lots of shopping here, but what we're interested in, is one of these side streets. Gonna show you a nice shot of the Arc de Triomphe, as well as a very famous street. One of the things that the 16th is famous for is its Haussmannian architecture. There is a lot of Haussmannian architecture up here. It feels very classically Parisian, and it has really wide sidewalks, which are fantastic for riding wheels. This right here is Avenue de Foch. Avenue Foch is a really nice big boulevard. Wonderful view of the Arc de Triomphe. A little bit of dark World War II history, which you can look up. But yeah, not sure I'd really come up here for a stroll on its own, but does make for some nice shots. In all honesty, we would have gotten a better shot of the Arc de Triomphe from Avenue Victor Hugo if we'd kept going that way, so might have to hit that up on the way back. But we're on our way to Bois de Boulogne, which if we were to go left and go way left, we can make it all the way down to the lakes, the Hippodrome, and beyond that, Parc des Princes. And Parc des Princes is a sporting complex, basically. There's football, rugby. If you're interested in seeing that, you can see the time that Bouchon and I went and watched a PSG football match. But it's a long ways away. I made a video about that already. You can go check that out. In the meantime, I'm gonna go right, check out the Louis Vuitton Foundation for the first time, and then we'll swing back around, see if we can't get ourselves a better photo of the Arc de Triomphe, and maybe, just maybe, from there, we'll call it a day. Because I'm not even sure what to do for lunch around here, to be honest, especially on a Sunday. During the day, the Bois de Boulogne is actually really nice. I didn't realize some of these through streets are actually really big. You can go for walks through here, runs. There's a restaurant in the middle of a tiny lake in here. Like, there's a lot of interesting things to discover, but I wouldn't stay too late. There's definitely a curfew here because it's a big park. It doesn't get closed off like all the other parks inside of Paris. So it gets used for more nefarious purposes at night. And yeah, I just wouldn't, I wouldn't wander in here at or after dusk. But we're here early in the morning on a Sunday, so everything should be nice and friendly. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna take a left here, and I'm hoping that we should be able to see the Louis Vuitton Foundation here fairly soon. Very interested in this thing. For those of you with kids, there is an amusement park out here. I don't know if it's a big enough amusement park that adults would find it particularly entertaining, but you know, it's got leopards all over it, so it must be awesome. Might have to try it out one of these days just to see what it's like. In the meantime, I think we're on the verge of hitting up the Louis Vuitton Foundation finally. After sitting here for a while, I have mixed feelings about this thing. I'll report in after. I'll give it a couple more minutes. The curvature of the exterior is pretty satisfying. At first I wasn't really a big fan of the material, and I also thought it would be a lot bigger. I thought it would actually be about double the size that it is. But aside from that, it looks pretty cool from the outside. I definitely want to go in and check it out. Might have to come make a video about it one of these days, but in the meantime, you know, it's kind of cool just to see from the outside. And it does look like the spaces that they've created below with the water are also really neat. Well, this has been a wonderful morning bouncing around the 16th, the Louis Vuitton Foundation. Definitely worth checking out. I have a feeling I'm really looking forward to going and paying it some real attention. As for this amusement park, I did hear people screaming, so you know, either it's fun or people are dying. Who knows? It could be a combination of the two. I'm gonna head over to Victor Hugo one more time just to see if I can't get myself a good photo of the Arc de Triomphe from the 16th. I hope you've enjoyed this wander through the 16th with me this morning. I've been reminded and pushed by some patrons recently to ask you to like the video if you enjoyed it this morning, and like every video if you enjoy them as you go. Feel free to leave a comment, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. And also, while I'm asking you to do too many things all at once, if you haven't followed me over on Instagram yet, I'm really hoping that you'll follow me over there for two reasons. One, if we cross over the 30,000 subscriber mark on YouTube here in the next week or so, I'll be doing a Q&A over there through my Instagram stories. And, oh, this is quite the cluster here, the traffic cluster. Yikes. Gotta watch out for good drivers. What was I saying before those guys decided to be terrible at driving? Oh yeah, if you follow me over on Instagram, I'll do a Q&A through my Instagram stories. So if you've got any Q's for me, I've got the A's. Make sure to jump in on that. And the other reason, my ulterior motive, is I really want to get past 10,000 followers over on Instagram just so I can do the swipe up thing. Like I really want in my stories. I want to be able to link to stuff. I've always wanted to do that, and it won't let me do that until I get to 10,000. So if you want to help me out there, that'd be great. I'm gonna go grab a photo of the Arc de Triomphe now, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for 20 and 20 day 17 in the 17th Arrondissement. And I'm sure it'll be a glorious time as well. Hope you enjoyed the 16th. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.